everybody, Cinema Sick this year with your daily video, and as always, hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And this is my, third time trying to record this video. Have you guys been getting a lot of solicitors calling you recently? I've been getting a ton just today alone. Normally, maybe once a week, maybe not even that often. I get a solicitor every now and then calling me, and it's usually, like a automated voice calling me to sell me something or some crap like that. I hate it. I know I should wait till the end of them talking and get off the list, but I never do that because I always get so mad and you usually yell something very mean into the phone. But today it's I've been getting 20 calls. It's insane. So phone is now in airplane mode, so nobody can call me now and interrupt me, because if that happens again, I am going to track people down and do things that will cause me to no longer be able to make these videos. So let's get down to today's daily video, and I got something to show you guys I've been slacking on a little bit, and that is some reviews. And I've only been slacking on it in the sense that I haven't been watching a ton of movies recently because I've been watching a lot of X-Files. I'm trying to work my way through the X-Files. But over the past week or so, I've been I gotta watch some movies. There's a lot of movies I've been wanting to check out, and as much as I love X-Files, I'm gonna try to be watching more movies and just throwing X-Files on every now and then, just because I really miss movies. I love movies. I want to watch movies. I love X-Files. It's great. I'm really enjoying it, but need to watch more movies. I'm also thinking about possibly going back to, if you guys remember watching my videos a long time ago, for those who've been following me for a long time, maybe you watched my older videos, I used to do a thing called Bought and Watched. It was kind of based on my daily videos, but I called them Bought and Watched back then. I would show you everything I bought and watched for that day. I'm thinking about going back to something like that because I always have something to show you guys if I do that, because I pretty much either always bought something or watched something, or bought and watched something, or vice versa. Either way, I always had something to show you guys, whether, again, I showed you something I watched and bought, or I showed you just something I bought, or I just showed you something I watched. Always had something to show you guys, so I'm thinking about going back to sort of that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll try that tomorrow. We'll see. But anyway, as of now, let's get down to it and take a look at what I've recently checked out. So first up here was The Danish Girl. I was so excited to see this movie, and all in all, it was okay. It was a decent story. It was all right, but when it comes down to it, I recommend Wikipediaing this story. You find out this movie isn't the most truthful story in the world, which you kind of can tell while watching this. If you watch this movie, it's sort of, you're watching it kind of thinking, something's off. It doesn't seem like how things maybe would really have gone down, or something's been left out, or something's missing. Something just seems just not right. It seems very Hollywood, and that's what you're getting here. Something very Hollywood, unfortunately. So it was an okay story, but apparently not the most truthful story. In fact, when I looked up on Wikipedia and other websites about the true story behind this, there's a lot of people who are either in the transgender community or are in just the gay lesbian community, or whatever communities out there that would very much support this, were very angry about this movie. So apparently not the most truthful film, but again, it's the story of the first transgender man-woman surgery that ever happened, and I'm not going to spoil it, but not a very happy ending. But definitely recommend, again, if you watch this movie and after you're done with it, Google the true story, and you'll get a much better idea of what actually happened. This is just kind of the truth. It's Hollywood truth. So it was an okay movie. Would I recommend it? If you're interested in checking out, I would say yeah, see it. It wasn't bad. It's just apparently not 100% truthful. Some things have been left out. Some things have been embellished. Some things have been changed. But I guess that's kind of the way to take any Hollywood biographical film. They're all going to kind of be that way, some more than others. This one apparently more so than others, though. But The Danish Girl, it was okay. Check it out. My wife watched it, and we both enjoyed it. Oh boy. Then I watched Rubberface. This is a 48-minute film. That's because it's a made-for-TV movie, so it's only less than an hour long. I'm probably an hour with commercials. Not the original title of this. Rubberface is not the original story. This movie was actually called Janet. What was it called? Now I'm forgetting the name of it. I think it was called Introducing Janet, I think is what it was called. And I feel really bad about Janet in this movie. I feel really bad. What was her name? Ada Glassborough, Adahglassborough. G. So Ada Glasper, I believe her name is. I feel really bad for her because this is her movie. This is not a Jim Carrey movie. Like I said, it was originally called, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the original title of this was Introducing Janet. And she is the main star. She's this character who is kind of always sort of hammering it up and not really being herself around her friends, always making jokes and just being kind of goofy and wacky, but again, not really being herself. I don't really understand part of this movie, though, in the fact that she kind of sort of makes it out to look like her friends are kind of like mean and stuff. Her friends are like really nice. Like, none of those movies made me go, wow, her friends are jerks. Like, no, her friends are like kind of okay. There's a scene where she like freaks out or runs out of class because she's reading this poem she wrote and it's very personal and whatnot. And she cries running out of class, and her friends after school are like, Janet, are you okay? Like they seem concerned that if she's all right or not. Like, none of her friends don't seem like jerks at all. So I don't know why she's being this way. Her friends are very not like her. They wear makeup and they're a little bit more popular and all that kind of stuff than Janet is. But they don't make it a point to be like, this seem like Janet needs to be acting the way she's acting. It kind of like seems like she's acting that way just on her own. She's not being herself just on her own accord, which I'm like, why would you be doing that? Like, just then, if you don't want to not be yourself, then don't. There doesn't seem to be a reason for you not to do that. But she's upset about that. So she meets Jim Carrey here, who's a stand-up comedian, and he's failing miserably, but she helps him out with writing some new material, and they become buddies and whatnot. And none of this movie is funny whatsoever. There's one funny joke in it. I'm not going to ruin it because if you watch this movie, I recommend watching it for this one part. There's a funny joke where Jim Carrey is using a French accent, and Jim Carrey makes a funny joke in this. It's a completely throwaway line too. It's not even like they were really setting it up and it was like, oh, that was funny. It's like this completely just throwaway, just out of the blue, like you're not even really supposed to be paying attention to this line, like joke. And I was like, that was funny. Okay, Jim Carrey made a funny joke in this. Otherwise, not a single joke in this was funny. All the characters were just hamming it up the entire time. I couldn't believe how just wretched of a movie this was. But so Janet befriends Jim Carrey here, and again they work out this routine, and Jim Carrey ends up basically at the end being like, oh, I have laryngitis, I can't go on stage, and makes Janet go on and do the routine, kind of to get Janet in the spotlight and afraid of all her fears and able to be herself, and because she has like stage fright, and she's able to kind of just be herself. And at the end, Jim Carrey's like, oh, good job, haha, didn't have laryngitis. So this movie's about Janet, not about Jim Carrey's character. So I felt really bad. I was like, wow, like they changed the name, they stuck his face on the front just because they're like, Jim Carrey, you want to buy it, it's got Jim Carrey, when this is not a Jim Carrey movie. It's not the original title of the movie. Rubberface makes absolutely no sense. He doesn't make any weird, like, well, for the most part, he doesn't make any weird faces. I mean, that doesn't happen in the movie. I just felt really bad for the character of Janet, and again, Ada Glassborough, if I'm pronouncing her name right. I felt just really bad for her since it was her movie, and really when it comes down to it, she should be the star. She should be the one on the front cover. Her name should be plastered along the front, and she should be getting all the credit for this film as it is her film. Not Jim Carrey's film. Jim Carrey was the co-star in this movie. So would I recommend checking it out? It's 45 minutes. If you really want to see it, you're not exactly wasting much time, so that's up to you. But really when it comes down to it, it wasn't funny, the story wasn't enjoyable, and I was pretty much just completely upset at the end of it when I found out that the story wasn't even about Jim Carrey, and he does not deserve the spotlight for this movie, because it's not his movie. But yeah, 45 minutes. If you really want to see it, you're not wasting too much time, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Then what I would recommend, Legend. This was fantastic. I'm a big fan of I was say European, but British gangster films. I love them. Ever since like Guy Ritchie, ever since I saw Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, I've just been a huge fan of the whole British gangster film, and that's what this is. This is more of a drama. The way I would describe this movie is sort of Casino, but like kind of like Casino, but British gangster. So instead of like Las Vegas gangsters. You have British gangsters. It's kind of that same sort of story where it's these two brothers, and they're on the height of their career. You know, everybody loves them. You know, but the police are after them. But they're popular. They seem to do nice things. They can't get caught no matter what happens. They always seem to kind of get out of it. And slowly over time, they kind of sabotage themselves, and in the end screw themselves over, just like, again, like in the movie Casino, where everything seems to be going great until they slowly screw themselves over. So sort of that realm. I'd say if you like gangster drama films, Legend is one to see. It was great, and I love Tom Hardy here playing two characters in the film. I thought that was really, really cool. He did a great job, and it's pretty amazing to see him just playing off himself. I think that was great watching him play just twin brothers. It was really cool. So definitely a movie I would highly recommend. This one was a lot of fun. If you like British gangster films, if you just like gangster films in general, definitely one to check out. Really fun film. And then I watched Kings of Cult. This, I was thrown for a loop. I went into this thinking it was a documentary all about Roger Corman and Charles Band, which I thought, that's kind of a weird documentary. I mean, why don't you just do one or the other? There's actually already a Roger Corman documentary out there, which I'd recommend. It's really good. But I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. They're doing a documentary like of them together. I'm like, did they work together? Maybe there's like, I don't know. So going into this, that's what I thought. Documentary, it's not. This is like an hour long, 53-minute long interview. It's Charles Band and Roger Corman sitting down being interviewed. That is it. Camera on them. They're being interviewed. That's all you're getting with this. So that might not be everybody's taste, but personally for me, I thought it was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed this because I like interviews. I like, Q&A sessions and stuff like that. I think they're always fun, and I love hearing the stories they tell. I loved hearing the stories that Roger Corman and Charles Band had to tell. I loved just the answers they were giving to all the different questions they were asked. It was very informative. Definitely thought this one was interesting. Again, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea because it's not a documentary or anything like that, but it's just basically a Q&A session, and I thought fairly well done, fairly interesting. Learned things about both of them I was unaware of. So would I recommend checking this out? I actually would. If you like Charles Band, if you like Roger Corman, this is one I would recommend checking out. It was definitely a fun film, or fun Q&A session, whatever you want to call this. It was a fun, interesting Q&A session, in my opinion. So definitely check it out if it sounds like your thing. I thought this was pretty decent. I think somebody left a comment on when I was watching this on Instagram saying like they didn't like it or something like that because it was boring, and it was just a Q&A session basically. And I was like, well, yeah, it's just an interview. I'm okay with that. It was interesting, so I'd recommend checking it out. I thought it was pretty decent. And then I watched I Am Legend in this 4 film favorites set here. Decided to watch this because I realized I have never watched it with the alternate ending, and that's what I did. Certainly enjoy this movie. I'm sure it's definitely a story that's been told before. It's the Last Man on Earth movie, or I Am Omega. It's that story of a disease that turns people basically into these like zombie vampire things, and there's like one man left, or supposedly you think there's one person left, and of course it's Will Smith, and he's left in New York. So it kind of tells a story about like how this all happened and what happened to his family, and now he's left there kind of surviving on his own, having to get food, and what he does to kill time, and his poor dog and everything like that. And then eventually he does run into somebody else who is still around after he essentially tries to kill himself. He gets saved by somebody, this woman and her son, who are still around and are on their way to apparently this salvation where apparently there's people still alive. But Will Smith's a complete jerk to them, and that's the one part of the movie I really don't like, is how much of a jerk Will Smith is. Then again, he hasn't been in contact with people in a very long time, so maybe that makes sense. But I was like, wow, I mean, they're being very nice to you. You're being very mean. But the alternate ending was interesting. Instead of Will Smith like blowing himself up, and spoiler here, instead of blowing himself up and that basically being the end of the movie and the woman and the child getting away, in this one, it's interesting how he how the zombie, I'm going to call them the zombies, whatever you want to call them, the zombies, they're the disease-infected people, we'll say, to be politically correct. They apparently still have feelings and whatnot, and the one reason why like this big head, mean kind of zombie guy is chasing Will Smith down is because Will Smith has been taking these zombie creatures and trying to cure them. and in doing so, killing a bunch of them off. He's trying to cure them, but the chemical used to cure them just kills them like over and over and over again until he's finally trying to find something, and he finds one that's working. And this big main huge zombie guy is coming after them because apparently Will Smith has captured like basically the zombie's like girlfriend or his wife or whatever it is. And so Will Smith like realizes what's going on, and he gives the zombie girl back to the zombie guy, and they seem happy and in love, and they let Will Smith go, and it's kind of a weird ending, basically showing that these like zombie creatures still have feelings, and they're not necessarily all just like mindless, brainless zombies. They still have like some human traits left in them. Kind of interesting, and also kind of about these characters, about just shows kind of an interesting take on how Will Smith sees these creatures as just monsters and just evil and just brainless and whatnot, and he's killing them off, not thinking anything about it. He's like, well, I'm trying to help you guys, and I'm killing a boatload of you off in doing so, not thinking anything about it, because whatever, they're just monsters out to kill. But it turns out they do kind of have feelings, and they are kind of still people. So he's basically been like a mass murderer. But interesting alternate ending. I thought it was pretty cool. Kind of weird, but kind of cool. And I just like the movie. It's a really fun movie, so I'd recommend checking it out. All right, then Life Happens, and this was okay. It's about these three girls live in a house. One of them gets knocked up, and now there's a baby in the house. And just about this girl trying to sort of live her life with a baby. Everything from like her job, who her boss is a jerk, Sally from The Rock from the Sun, who doesn't like babies around, and she meets this guy who she really likes, but she lies about having a kid, which is pretty messed up. But she lies about having a kid, says it's one of the other girls' kids, because the guy is basically like, oh, kids, who likes them? So she lies about it. Now she's trapped in this whole big lie, and it just snowballs from there. And it's basically just this whole story about this girl who has a kid, who didn't really mean to. She loves her kid, but she didn't really mean to have a kid, and now she's trying to survive and trying to just date and live her life while still having a kid, because the kid's father is out of the picture. He's like a jerk surfer guy and goes off to live his surfer career. It's kind of messed up though. There's one point in the movie where she like really wants to go on this date with the guy, and her roommate who's supposed to babysit isn't going to be there. So what does she do? There's a 12-year-old boy who like lives next door, and she leaves the baby with like the 12-year-old boy, and she comes home. There's like an ambulance there. Luckily the baby was okay. Something happened to the boy apparently, but which they don't really tell you what happened, by the way. It's just kind of like, oh, there's an ambulance. Oh my god. Oh, the baby's okay. Boy got hurt or something. It's like, what happened to the boy? But anyway, wow. Like I remember I just like as somebody with a kid, I was like, yeah, like that's pretty messed up. And of course the roommate like freaks out, like, why would you do that? Yeah, I'm sorry, I was supposed to babysit and I wasn't here to do that, but what the hell, why did you leave the baby with it? Tough, stay home. I'm sorry I wasn't here, but you're the mother, you gotta stay here and watch your kid. Don't leave the kid with a 12-year-old. And then she freaks out at like the roommate. I'm like, no, you were definitely wrong. So mediocre. I really didn't find this movie all that interesting. Of course, happy ending in the end, of course. It was mediocre. Would I really recommend this one? Not so much. Even as somebody with a kid, I couldn't really relate to this movie too much. It was just very, very bland, very mediocre. Not really all that interesting. And then we have National Geographic Video, The Last Voyage of the Lusitania. This was an interesting documentary. I love this kind of stuff. The same group who found the Titanic went out and dove down to Lusitania to kind of debunk whether or not the Lusitania, how she sunk. Was she sunk just by a torpedo? Because she was sunk by a torpedo by German U-boats. Or was it like a torpedo, and then was the Lusitania carrying ammunition, like explosives, and when the torpedo hit, the explosives went off, and that's why it sunk so quickly. They basically determined that wasn't the case. It was just sunk simply by torpedoes. But the whole movie, or the whole documentary, they're saying like, they're almost kind of making it sound like it was wrong of the Germans to like do that. And although I would agree, that they're just sinking these ships, they weren't carrying explosives or anything like that, but they were carrying items for the war. So technically, the Germans said, like, look, if you're carrying weapons on your boat, then your boat is going to be seen as basically a warship. It's going to be seen as a ship that, we're going to sink because there are weapons on board and it's helping, your part of the war. And although, again, it's a horrible thing, and I don't agree with sinking of any ships, German, British, whatever, because I certainly don't want to see anybody, die, and I just think war is horrible. I kind of was like, well, not that you deserved it, but war basically, by carrying things for the war. I forget what it was. I don't think it was guns or anything like that. It was like, I forget, but it was materials for the war. I was like, by carrying goods for the British, the British soldier in the British army for the war, so they could fight Germany and defeat Germany. You turned your ship, your passenger ship, into a warship, and the Germans, again, not that I'm saying they had the right, but I can't blame them so much for doing what they did. So yeah, I don't know. They were saying, like, if the Lusitania was carrying explosives and the Germans, they were right, and I guess they were kind of right in what they did. But if it wasn't, then they were wrong. And it's like, well, no, I don't care what you were carrying on your ship. You knowingly turned your passenger ship into a ship of war, into a warship. Like, that was just a bad call in general. You shouldn't have done that. Basically, all these people died because of what you stored on board. You shouldn't have done that. So I really blame the liner company for allowing those things on board. I don't know, just crazy. But very interesting documentary, them just discovering about what actually happened, and definitely worth checking out if you like it. Just awesome documentaries. Okay, then up was the incredible Burt Wonderstone. Actually, second time watching this one, I just kind of felt like watching it again. Really underrated movie, in my opinion. I love Steve Carell in this. Very funny. He's this kid who becomes this magician. He's in it for the passion, the love, and he loves magic. And then over time, it just all becomes very routine, and he becomes this complete, like, egotistical jerk. I mean, he's like the biggest jerk there ever was. I love Steve Buscemi is his, like, partner on stage, and he's still kind of in it for the love and the passion, but he's just kind of going along with it. And interesting watching them kind of, like, fight off each other, and just the dynamic between those two, and how, again, one is just become a jerk and doesn't care about it anymore, just cares about the money and the chicks and whatnot, and then one of them still caring about the actual passion of magic. And then, oh my god, Jim Carrey in this. I love the fact that Jim Carrey just plays like another like co-star. He's not like the main star of the movie. He just plays this like side story, and he plays the character of I'm totally forgetting his name, and it's driving me nuts. I never liked his magic. Chris Angel, is that it? Yeah, Chris Angel, I think his name. I never liked his magic or his thing. I never watched any of his shows. When he had like Mind Freak or something like that or whatever. I never watched his stuff, but he's playing that kind of character, and he's freaking hilarious in this. He's great. Just his character is worth watching the movie alone. He is absolutely hilarious in this film. The stuff he does, just, again, really just things that are just harming himself. He's not doing magic so much. I mean, he is kind of at some points in time, but he's just doing things that like cause horrible bodily harm to him, and even to the point where at the end, drilling a hole in his head. He's just, again, hilarious in this. So, great movie, very funny. I feel very underrated. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this movie, unfortunately. I think it's definitely one worth checking out. It has a great cast. I mean, Olivia Wilde's in this. A ton of other great people show up in this movie as well. Just a great movie. Very funny, great characters, great story. Definitely one to check out, in my opinion. Alright, then one I can't physically hold up and show you, as I only have a digital copy, and that is Hardcore Henry. It was okay. It's interesting that it's all done like a first-person shooter like role. You're looking through the eyes of Henry, and he basically wakes up, doesn't know what's going on, he's missing like limbs and stuff, and you find out he's part of this like program, and now he's out to hunt down the bad guy of the movie, and the whole film he's just hunting people, killing people down, and it's kind of interesting. If you like action, you'll probably enjoy the movie. There's a lot of really cool action in it, a lot of interesting stuff as far as like, people being shot and blown up, and fight scenes, parkour. So that's your type of thing. It's interesting. I didn't love it because I didn't really care for the story too much. I just thought the story was kind of mediocre. The bad guy was kind of weird with his his like I don't know, telepathy powers, or whatever, he can like make stuff move with his mind. That was kind of like okay, whatever. But all in all, I thought it was just okay. It's interesting. I don't have too much to say about Hardcore Henry. It's just an interesting take on an action film where it's all just first person, which is again interesting. It's different. It makes the movie unique. I think if maybe the movie didn't have that, it wouldn't be as interesting. But we're checking out. If you like action movies, it's something different. It's something I'd say check out. But it is kind of weird all at the same time. It has kind of this weird sci-fi thing going on. Again, it's just kind of it's different, and I recommend checking it out if it seems like maybe something you want to see. And the next up on the movie I can't physically hold up and show you as I only have a digital copy, and that is Magic in the Moonlight, a Woody Allen film. And this one I actually really enjoyed. It's all about this, again, another magician movie. It's all about this magician who is going to debunk a psychic, and he ends up like falling for her, and he can't figure out how they're doing basically he's trying to debunk all the stuff she's doing, how she levitates a table or how she levitates a candle or knocking or stuff like that, how she's doing all this stuff, and he's trying to debunk it, but he ends up falling for her and he can't figure out how it's happening, so he ends up kind of changing almost his whole like way of seeing life. He thinks maybe there is an afterlife, maybe there is a god. All this stuff I thought was fake all these years. She's a real deal. How is this really going on? And then I'm not gonna spoil the ending for you, but there definitely is a twist at the end. And again, I really don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, I'd recommend checking it out. It's an interesting movie, great period piece. All I guess is like 1930s is when I think this takes place, in like France and over in Europe. Just very interesting movie, very enjoyable. I tend to really enjoy Woody Allen films, and this one is no different. Although this one was great. Fantastic cast. I love the cast in this one, and I just thought the story was interesting, and maybe the ending was a little with the whole love thing, especially with the two characters who fall in love. There definitely seems to be a bit of an age difference there, a bit of an age gap, but I thought maybe that was a little weird. I think it's the only like maybe bad part of the movie is I thought maybe the love, the two characters kind of falling in love at the end kind of maybe felt a little bit tacked on. Like I can understand the one main character falling in, our magician character falling in love with the psychic. I can understand that, him falling in love with her. I get that. Maybe even her, maybe even having a little like, he's kind of, maybe he's interesting. I kind of like him maybe, but something about just the way they're like, they're going to get married at the end of the movie was just kind of like, I don't know. It maybe felt a little tacked on. But nevertheless, it was a very enjoyable movie, and definitely would recommend it. Again, a little bit of a twist ending at the end, and I won't spoil that for you. I won't give that one away, but worth checking out. If you like Woody Allen movies, Magic in the Moonlight is definitely one worth checking out. So there you go, guys. That is it. That is everything I've recently watched. A lot of great stuff, and like I said, I still will be checking out a lot of X-Files, but I'm going to be watching that sporadically now and trying to get some more movies in, because I am just fiending. I'm going through not only Coke withdrawals, I'm on like my 5th day of no soda. Sort of. I actually drank the soda today. Shh. I was at basically a pizza party, and all they had to drink was soda. And I was like, well, I don't have a choice, but I'm not trying to cut soda completely out of my life. I'm trying to cut soda mostly out of my life. If I'm at a pizza party and all I have to drink is soda, I'll drink a soda. An occasional soda, not bad. A soda every stinking meal, that's bad. That's what I gotta stop doing. So I had a soda. Shh, don't tell anybody, except everybody who I'm just telling now, and my wife, and okay, everybody knows. But yeah. So not only am I going through with Coke withdrawals, I still would like a Coke. I'm also going through movie withdrawals due to all the X-Files I've been watching. So I'm gonna start watching a lot more movies, and kind of just throwing in X-Files here and there, watching an episode or here or there while I can. It's gonna take me a really long time to get through it all, but what are you going to do? So, all right, guys, there you go. That is it. So, like I always say, thank you guys so much for checking this video out. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you want to see a brand new video from me every single day, then hit that subscribe button, and you're going to get one. And also, if you want to grab yourself a Cinema Sickness t-shirt, one of many designs you can choose from, or Cinema Sickness hat, buttons, kids gear, baby gear, hoodies, tank tops, all kinds of cool Cinema Sickness gear, head over to cinemasickness.spreadshirt.com, where you can get yourself some of that, and right now, free shipping on all your purchases. So if you order some t-shirts or hats or whatever, it's all free shipping. So if you want to get something, now is the time to get it. And I know the shipping code this time. I wrote it down. It is SHIPLESS, SHIPLESS, SHIPLESS. If you use that code at checkout, you will get free shipping on everything you purchase from me or from anybody. So head over to cinemasickness.spreadshirt.com. And also, if you want to get early access to videos, although I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that for now on, if I change it up to the Bolt and Watch videos, we'll see. But if you want to gain early access to most of my videos, or just show your thanks and appreciation for these videos, and just show your support for new content, then head over to patreon.com/cinemasickness, where every tiny little bit helps and is very much greatly appreciated. So again, that is it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.